Hey guys, it's friendly neighborhood advisor here, Alex Quinn, with the most common ways people make millions in their 20s. All right, so tip number one is influencing. Influencing is one of the most common ways that people do it. However, influencing is not as simple as just turning on the camera and hitting record. There are actually multiple avenues through which people make millions in their 20s. Some of it is through merchandise, some of it is through just advertise. Well, so there's multiple types of merchandise actually. So sometimes they have their own merchandise that has their own brands, their own logos, their own jokes, their own little quips on it. Aside from that, sometimes it's a combination of both. Usually it's a combination of both, but also it's promoting other brands, sometimes influencing, and not just on YouTube, but also on TikTok, especially on TikTok. Most of the money on TikTok is from promoting brands. And on YouTube, it is a little more skewed toward the actual content providers for the most part. On Facebook, it is definitely skewed toward the content providers, and it also is based on how much income you get based on what topics you're doing and such. Some of it is streaming, a lot of it is related to streaming because you have to get popular, you have to be seen a lot, you have to be seen frequently, you have to build to be able to be approached and to be able to do some of these avenues. And some avenues are more or less successful depending on what type of content you're doing it, whether it's reactions, reviews, original content, informational videos, your audience, whether it be kids or more of a demographic marketing type thing, or just kind of falling wherever it may, or if it's a little bit more on the entertainment side. So whatever you're doing is going to be a bit of a different animal entirely, and there's multiple avenues you can pursue. A lot of people provide their own services such as advising, coaching tips for everything from writing to whatever, and even online courses. So there are lots of ways that people use influencing to pull in more income. The next tip that I want to get into actually is going to be a little bit of a one beef. It's going to be part of the influencing because it is one of the other tips combined with it. A way that people make, one of the most common ways that people make millions in their 20s is that through influencing, they will sell something that they start up, some other business. So this is the way that this is different from a brand such as like merchandise or food, if it's Logan Paul, KSI, etc., is they actually will create a new product, or they'll have a kind of a system as a service, or some type of software, some type of tech, some actual product that they produce. So this is a little bit less common. However, this does still happen in conjunction. If I'm going to be talking about influencing and I'm going to be talking about tech and software, then I need to bring up the in-between, which tends to do well if one or the other does well, because if one's going well already, then you probably have a business mindset, you've already figured out a little bit about marketing, a little bit about business, a little bit about what you're doing, you're probably ambitious and you put in the work and the time and the hours, and because you've already got all of that together, to do something else over is just really not that much different. I've been a business advisor for many years, and I've found that once you know how to run pretty much any type of business, you can run any other type of business. The only real exception is if you are able to do that business just because you're used to it, or if you're able to do it because you understand how business works in general, because your approach of how you go about it. I suppose I'm a bit more of an architector, so I kind of build systems instead of building solutions. And so maybe I just am good at making it so that you can kind of plug and play. Whatever I do here, I can also do over here. I have been told that, and I don't know to what degree I believe that, and I do agree it depends on the person, but I don't know if it's an architect versus hands-on type of person mentality. But anyway, so typically if you are good at one of those things, you are usually good in the other area, unless you're only good at that because you're used to it, because you did it bit by bit. And I think a lot of it comes down to doing it solo. If you do it by yourself, then sticking to one is usually a better answer. But if you have a team of people that help you, like lighting, recording, etc., then normally if you can do one, you can do the other. All right, so now let's go into tip number two is e-commerce. E-commerce is basically where you sell things online. If I'm going to put it very simply, how people typically do it and make millions when they're in their 20s is they will do it through either dropshipping or creating a product that they sell online. This can be a bit similar to the influencing that I mentioned earlier, where your product is just advertised through influencing. However, you can sell a product without it being through that. Typically Shopify is the main area that I've heard of people doing it, but you have better results if you are selling a service or if you're selling some type of software or people use your website for something. You just have to provide a solution for someone. You have to solve a problem for someone that other people are not currently doing, or you have to do it better or provide a particular tool that someone needs that they don't want to build or don't know how to build. And actually, almost nobody builds the tool that they need. So just find something that isn't there yet and make it. It's so easy. Find video editing site that is not doing something, or find its main complaint. Find what people are complaining about and go and make your own video editing site that just does the bare basics, and then add that one feature, and then you actually will get mad money for that until they fix and patch it up, and then find something else that they don't do. But usually if you take care of the main thing that is complained about, they probably won't fix it, because if it was that easy for them, they would have already been fixing it by now, or they're not paying attention to it, or they have a blind spot, or they're just not focused in that way. Who knows, maybe they stopped developing their app, but usually when there's like a main problem, it stays a main problem. Kind of like how Google always has issues with privacy and people's data, although now it seems like all companies are just doing it. Or maybe Google's just the only one that got caught doing it. E-commerce, there's various ways to go about it. Drop shipping is basically where you go on one site and you have people fill out information on another site, and you basically copy a listing. So you take things, there's one, I think it's called arbitrage, but basically you have something skim through eBay or Amazon and see what the prices are, and you have something skim through for the same products on the other site, and you see where there's a difference. And if something has a big price difference of $20 or more, then you have that item copied onto your seller site, and then when people buy it from you, they put in their information, and you have a program automatically copy their information over to the other site. So if I find something on eBay that's going for $5 and I find on Amazon it's going for $10 or $20, then I can copy that listing and put it on Amazon, and when people buy it from me, then it automatically puts in the info so that it goes from eBay to their house directly. I only have to deal with it if they complain or want to do a return or something, and then I just kind of have an email on my phone where I click some buttons, and Amazon just processes it and handles all the money stuff and the refunds and all of that, and it's just, it all works on its own. So that one used to be called arbitrage. It probably still is called that, but that's one form of drop shipping where basically it drops it off for you. You don't really have to do much of the work. So that is a very common way, and there's other e-commerce where you're just selling anything online. It can be anything, even a physical product. A lot of times service works a lot better, like creating a website or creating a solution, an extension, a toolbox, anything. Or if you make something people want to use and you provide it for free, but then you get someone notices, hey, you know what, this guy's getting pretty popular, let's put some ads in there, and they'll pay you to put ads in, and you get so much money from that. I know quite a few people who actually made $1 million in a month doing that, and that is crazy. Tip number 3 is software startup. So software startup actually is very similar to the other two as well. So software startup is where you start up based on using a software, something that people can't usually hold, can't usually have it physically. It is parts of a computer where you can kind of go and manipulate things. The website actually is also a software startup if that is the main thing that you do, and you just kind of usually focus on that one app. But software startups also can design applications. You can look up how to do anything in coding. I've done it. Anything you have to do in programming, you just Google how to do it, and then you just copy paste that. And now there's AI that can do it for you, I guess. So, and vibe coding is a thing where you just kind of talk to it and it does it for you. So you make some type of app or game or something, and then you produce that, and you see if that makes any money. And you can actually do it in about a day. If you want to put something out on the App Store, can't guarantee the results, but I know plenty of people who have done it. I don't know if they've made a lot of money from it, but I assume it makes something, or they wouldn't keep supporting it. Anyway, so those are the main ways that people make millions in their 20s. Self-made millionaires, at least. I hope this helps someone out there. I hope this motivates you to leave bad bosses and janky jobs. You all take care and have a wonderful night.